the president of Weber State University, and our former dean here at the U for graduate studies and before that continuing education, among other positions. And I think we do have chairs for you, so please come on up and join us. So now, I'll turn it over to Kate and Sarah to introduce Ruth and Chuck, and then to introduce the panelists to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes, it works. Great. I'm Sarah George. I'm the executive director of the Natural History Museum of Utah, and I'm also an adjunct professor of biology. And I want to welcome you to the museum. It's really great to have you all here. I hope you had a chance to see some of the projects that the museum has done with ophthalmology, with biology, with modern dance, and a whole variety of programs on campus at the university. I think what we'd like to do first is to invite Ruth and Chuck to say just a few words about institutional views from the perspective of the University of Utah and Weber State University on cross-disciplinary research and programs.
Great. First? You and Chuck. As Chuck is our guest, I think I should have Chuck go first.
Well, I'm a guest, but I spent nearly 30 years here at the U, so I don't feel like much of a guest. I feel quite at home. Thank you. It's a great privilege for me to participate with the panel. I think one of the reasons I'm here is not because I am president of Weber State University, but because I used to own a plane with Glenn. And he's the one who got me interested in EFS, and I'm delighted to see the turn that EFS has taken to include many more disciplines. At Weber State, our focus really is on instruction, very, very strongly. It doesn't have the research-oriented atmosphere that the U does. We do engage in research and scholarship, of course, and it's one of the things that keeps our undergrads engaged in their work. But we put teaching first, and we've done some very interesting things lately with interdisciplinary teaching. We have a math dance course that brings a kinesthetic interpretation of mathematics and allows students to really make the connections between the movements and patterns that they're doing in dance and the mathematical descriptions of those patterns that they can relate to the mathematics discipline. We now have physics and dance. We have a MOOC that is the intersection between history and microbiology, and so students really learn the historical context of things like the plague, and as well as the underlying science of what went on during that catastrophic event. So the disciplines are mileposts in my view. They are the way that we organize our academic worlds. And it's important to have disciplines, but it's increasingly important to have interdisciplinary interactions. And by doing that, we help students to connect the dots and make a greater sense of their own world. As I said, we do that mostly in the context of instruction, but Ruth, maybe you'd like to say a little bit more about the research.
Actually, that's perfect. So I need you to participate a little bit with me. So at some risk, I'm going to come off this little baby stage. Made it. That's good. Nobody fell. Good. So tell me about your last big idea. Creative, thought, hunch, intuition, something you thought was going to be exciting to pursue in your work. Tell me where you got that idea and how you think it came to you or how you nurtured it. So now it takes one brave person to get us started here. One or two people.
From clinical practice.
From clinical practice. So you see a problem, an issue, an urgent problem, and you begin to nurture an idea of something that needs to be addressed. Okay, then what do? What's sort of a step to nurture your idea along?
You start talking about it.
Yes, start talking about it. You need some input from other people, right? And what kind of other people do you want input from?
Consumers and clinicians, and for me, computer guys, but I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
IT people.
Okay, really, she said something really good right there. people, the stakeholders, people that are consumers, other people working in the field, and a group of people that you don't know anything about what they do, right? So some big ideas happening there, right? You're gonna have to think about, one of the things that I think is really important in this is you gotta get yourself around people who think differently than you do, who do things differently, who have a different perspective, a different background, who know something you don't. We're gonna poke, prod, and push a little bit at your idea. Yeah, Chris.
I'm one of the computer guys, and actually one of the ideas that I have is working with some surgeons, where we had done a virtual reality visualization where to help one of our neurosurgeons prepare for a difficult neurosurgery of a little girl. And one of the ideas when I was watching him with the virtual glasses there, think about the operation, what I got really worried about was that how accurate is our presentation of what we're showing him. It looks really good, but there's like no error bars or uncertainty or anything, and that launched a whole new area of research for myself and others about representing visual uncertainty in a visual way to better allow people to make decisions under uncertainty. And we've been working a lot with people in medicine.
I'll use that. Perfect example. Thank you. So you get the flavor. Here's somebody else had a hand up? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. So now let me ask you this. And since Chuck got us off to a great start thinking about interdisciplinarity and education and the importance of the way we enrich opportunities for our students, I will talk a little bit more about the research and scholarship side of things, and the conversation has gotten us going that way. So if we said, what do you think are some of the most urgent issues for society? What are the grand challenge problems that we're facing? And which seem particularly pertinent for Utah, given our area, region, state? What are some things that would come to mind? Water. Great. Water. Air quality. Water, air quality. What else? Oh, thank you. Russ, good job. He's on my wavelength. Early childhood education. Yeah. Energy. Great. Other things. All these health people here. Biodiversity. Thank you. Sarah knows where we're going. Yes. Human diversity, right? Okay, so that's good, and we could talk a lot more about some of the grand challenges. How are we going to make progress on addressing some of those grand challenge issues? If each independent person goes back to their area and works alone on their scholarship, urgent, serious, well-prepared, smart people that we have on our faculty, probably not, based on what we just talked about where the big ideas will come from, where will big creative solutions, how will we move forward? So one of the things we have done over the last 2 years, we've had 2 cycles, we plan a third, is ask for proposals from the faculty. We've called this the Transformative Excellence Program, and we have asked people to come together around in areas of strength where we have the opportunity to really ramp up the impact of our work by joining forces in new and creative ways across departmental and college boundaries, to come together around issues, problems, learning scholarship opportunities, and really try to press forward where we have strength and can have an impact. The first cycle, the proposals were funded in big data, data science. All of these are cross-college, cross-departmental efforts. Society, water, climate, and air. That was great that you mentioned that. That's the cluster that's kind of gotten out of the gate the fastest with faculty hiring. Digital humanities is a cluster, and why can't I remember the fourth one from the first year? Families and health, thank you, families and health. This cycle, biodiversity is a proposal, right? Biophysics is one, for some reason under pressure and cracking, I can't remember the others. STEM education is one that's a cluster in development. This has been so much fun to take good ideas coming up from our faculty. Creative combinations, honestly, I think the proposal process itself might have more value than the faculty funding positions component, because it's bringing people together to work on problems in areas of strength where we can have an impact in ways we really haven't done before. It's exciting and fun. So I'm going to stop and pass to the next person.